Good morning, good day all. My name is Dr. Angela Anike. The title of the course is Use of Library, GST 101, Introduction. Library. The word library comes from the Latin word libra, which means book. Library started as places where materials like parchment, scrolls, and tablets, that is clay tablets, were kept mainly for preservation. Later, libraries developed into places where books were kept for reading. This was as a result of the emergence of the printing press. Advances in information technology have led to changes in libraries. Today, a library can be defined as a place where print, non-print, and digital resources are collected, organized, and made available for use. There are different types of library. We have National Library, Academic Library, Public Library, School Library, and Special Library. We also have private library, but the main topic is the University Library. The University Library is a type of academic library. There are libraries attached to tertiary institutions such as universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, colleges of agric and research centers. A library can be defined as a place where print, non-print, and digital resources are collected, organized, and made available for use. Resources in the library must be organized to enable the users be able to locate and retrieve the information needed for their information need. The functions of the library. A library provides information materials in line with the academic requirements of the parent institution. It provides information resources in line with the needs of the faculty and researchers. It provides information resources for recreation and personal self-development of users. It is an important section of the university. We have major sections in Festus Aragbo Nwako Library. That is the name of our university library. We have the Portals Lodge. It's at the entrance of the library. Immediately you enter the library, users are expected to submit themselves for check and identification. They present their identification cards and when cleared are directed to keep their bags in the pigeonholes provided. After using the library, they are also required to submit themselves to be checked as they leave the library. We have the acquisition section. This section deals with selection and acquisition of library materials. Acquisition duties are concerned with making additions to the library's information resources. Most libraries have acquisition policy that is based on the mission of the library, and it serves as a guide to the nature of information materials to be added to the collection. Information resources in the university library are acquired only after careful selection, and the information materials must reflect the information needs of the various academic programs of the university. Each book has its own unique accession number. Students are not allowed in this section of the library. We have the cataloging section. This section is where resources are organized. Organization of resources is very important. Resources in this section are cataloged, classified, and they are kept in the shelf so that users will be able to retrieve them. In the cataloging section, students are not allowed because it's a workplace where individual book will be brought out. The information resources must be properly organized to facilitate their early location and retrieval. As a result of this, the resources must be classified, cataloged, and organized in the shelf. In cataloging a book, it is called, there's a types of catalog. We have catalog card, shelf catalog, and online public access catalog. There is a need to maintain a list of these information resources held by the library, and a catalog is the list. A library catalog is a list of all items in a collection, usually arranged by author, title, or subject. It records, describes, and locates each item in the library collection. The main functions of the library catalog are to enable a user find a document of which the author or the title or subject is known. Be aware of what the library has by a given author on a given subject in a given form of literature. Choose a document as to its edition, bibliography, literary or tropical. We have three main types of catalog. Shelf, as I said before, card catalog, shelf catalog, and NOPAC. But in this library, we use card catalog. The card catalog are entries which are representatives of information resources made on 3x3 cards to create access points that enable location, retrieval, and use of the resources in the library. It is usually arranged by author, title, or subject. These items also must be classified. Classification is bringing like materials together while differentiating them from different ones. The classification scheme we use is Library of Congress. As I said, classification of books and other information resources facilitate the grouping and maintenance of the library collection in a logical order based on a given scheme. Here we use Library of Congress scheme LC. LC divides knowledge into 21 broad areas of knowledge represented by alphabets within A to Z. Example, A for general works, B for philosophy, psychology, and religion. These are subdivided into subclasses. Example, Cure A, Cure B, Cure C. Numbers are also used to represent the elements of the class and subclasses, ranging from 1 to 900 and all these in the cataloging section. All these are done in the cataloging section of the library. After organizing them, those books will be put in shelves, and those shelves are located at the reading halls. We also have MOIS. We have the circulation section. This is the public service section of the library. Activities in this section include registration of users. Here, users will come and register. Students and staff are issued a registration card, each which is signed by their heads of department. On return of the card, on return of a form, they will be given form. When they return the form, identification card will be given to them. This identification card enables them to come to the library to use them. Whenever you're coming to the library, come with your identification card. They also collect overdue forms, overdue levy. The circulation maintains circulation routine and keeps record of borrowed books. Lending of books is called charging, while receiving of borrowed books is called discharging. A user is given a number of cards, each to be used for borrowing a book, while the date due is stamped on the date due slip on the book. And the book card, the student is expected to return the book on the date stamped on the back of the book. If the student fails to return the book on the date due, the student is expected to pay overdue fine or replace the book in case of loss or damage to the book. They also issue clearance. By the time you finish your section, your academic years in the university, you're expected to bring your clearance form to the circulation unit. So they will look at your records to find out if you are with any of our books. If you are not, your clearance form will be signed. So this is an important section that students expected to use. We also have the serial. The reference section. The reference section is an important section in the library. This section is made up of reference materials. What do I mean by reference materials? Information resources are information-bearing books that students are not meant to be the books that are not meant to be read from page to page. The reader They are not meant to be read from page to page. They are designed to be consulted or looked up for a specific piece of information. Example, dictionaries, yearbooks, almanacs, directories, guides, the handbooks. Reference books are usually comprehensive with their scope, condensed in treatment, and systematically arranged to facilitate ease of use. The arrangement of the entries depends on the type of the material. Reference resources. The reference section of the library is headed by a reference librarian and is willing to offer reference service to individual readers together with his or her staff. They consider the assistance as an important aspect of their responsibilities. Students are encouraged to visit this section of the library. When you come to when you have assignments, you will come to the reference section. They will help you to locate the information resources that will aid you in answering the questions. It is important for you to visit this section. We have a lot of information resources in this section. We have the serial section of the library. The serial section is where information resources are kept. The information resources kept in this serial section include journals, newspapers, magazines, annuals, law reports, and manuals. Serials are periodics that appear at scheduled time with some scheme for consecutive numbering and intended to continue indefinitely. Serials are published at regular intervals. It's either monthly, weekly, or daily, as the case may be. Government publications are kept here. Special collections are also in use. Serials such as journals are primary source of information on research undertaken by any given field. They provide, through the publication, original papers, reports of completed as well as ongoing research. The journals are catalogued, while an index of typical articles in journals, newspapers, and magazines is prepared by the librarian. The index provides user direction to the article published in the newspapers and journals, with highlights of their subject heading as well as the bibliographic details of the source to enable the user to identify the pages on which the articles could be found. The subject heading in index make for easy access to the many articles contained in serial publication. The serials are later bound into volumes depending on the frequency of the publication. Users should request for the index of serial when they want to use this section. Special collections are also housed in this unit. Special collections include government publications, which are information resources published by government to keep one abreast on events. We also have the project section. This section is where the research output of students are kept. Projects, theses, dissertations in various disciplines are kept here. They are arranged according to faculties and departmental courses offered. These information resources are for reference purposes and must not be photographed or photocopied. They are arranged. The index is used to identify the required titles, and the staff in the charge of the section makes them available to the user on demand. Students are encouraged to come here when they want to start their project work, so they will look at what others have done and be able to take off from there. We have the archives. Bounded volumes of newspapers and journals of past years are kept in this section for consultation by users. They may be old, but they are not useless. If you come there, you will see newspapers of 10 years back. These are information resources. Somebody may need information from there. They will come to the archive to retrieve them. We have the Zix Research Center. This unit contains information resources on the life and times of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. The resources include books written by the great Zik of Africa. Others are those written about him. Journal articles, frame pictures, and monographs on and about Ziks. You know the name of our university is Nnamdi Azikiwe University. So we are opening a center. We've opened a center that will help us to perpetuate his life, all his activities, all he have done to enable his memory and all his achievements for us to honor him. We have Africana section. Information resources about Africa are kept in this section. Houses information resources about Africa, publication by African writers. Information of Africa can be found here. Anything you need to know about Africa, they are kept in the Africana section. We have the boundary section. Damaged books are repaired here. We have the reading halls. The reading halls are situated at the two wings of the last floor of the university library. The library collections in all the disciplines are arranged on the shelves according to the Library of Congress classification scheme. They are arranged under two broad disciplines, science and technology and humanities. The collections are arranged in shelves, and the shelves are labeled with shelf guides showing the content of each shelf. Students are expected to use the shelf guides to identify, locate, and retrieve and use the information resources found in the catalog or index placed on the shelves. There are seating arrangements for students. In this section of the library, it is very important. These are where all the library collections are kept according to departments. If you come to the reading halls, we have a lot of current books. They are arranged. If you have any difficulty in locating any book, ask the librarian in charge. Somebody is always stationed at the reading halls to help you people. We have the digital section of the library. This is where information and communication technology has been applied in library operations as well as library services. As such, we have e-resources. The e-resources are kept in the digital library section of the library. The e-resources enable the digital library enabled libraries to provide ICT enables libraries to provide e-resources and e-services, which is always faster and not limited by time or space. But in our digital library, we have a lot of e-resources. The university has paid for databases. The databases are meant for students to come into the digital library. If you register, username will be given to you and password, so you'll be able to access what we have. We're encouraging you to come and make use of what we have in the digital library. We have a lot of resources, CD-ROMs, full text electronic information resources. We have personal computers and about 500 desktops, workstations. There are some rules. We have the librarian's office. The office of university librarian is in charge of the management and administration of the entire university library system. The university librarian is the principal officer of the university who reports to the vice chancellor about the day-to-day administration of the library. She is in charge of the library. We have library rules. There are rules guiding the use of the library. Generally, you must register for you to use our library. And when you're leaving the library, we demand security check. Various disciplinary measures are taken against theft, damage, or abusive use of library materials. Late return of borrowed materials attracts overdue fine. Eating, drinking, and smoking are not allowed. Users are not expected to use sharp objects while using the library. The library environment is expected to be noise-free. Users are not expected to distort the shelf order by attempting to reshelf used materials. When you bring out books from the shelf, after making use of them, leave the books on the table. There are people that will be able to shelf the books back because we have an order on how it is done. We're encouraging you not to tamper with our books. Know the error of books. Don't fold our books. Just use them and keep them for another person to use. Thank you.